What's up, guys? Welcome back to your realestate101.com. And right now, I got some really terrible news for you landlords who have not received anything or any rent in the last few months. And some of you guys, I've heard, have not received money for over a year. The bad news is New York legislators have voted to extend the moratorium until August. Yes, until August. Clearly, like I said, they don't care. They don't care. They don't really care what happens to the landlord. In fact, I am pretty sure right now they are eyeballing your property right now, thinking how can they get it before the big real estate guys get it. So just know that. No, they don't care. Now, one thing I can say, there was some of the Republicans senators in the state did argue for landlords, and they did say that, hey, look, these guys haven't gotten paid. For some of these tenants are not paying. Now, keep in mind, they said that they will actually try to pay for people who had COVID issues. Now, yes, hardship from COVID, yes, I can even understand it. I think people should even try to see if they can work with people who had that. And for those people who actually had hardship, they're going to get rent relief. But that's not really what we're talking about here. What we're talking about here is the other people. And I know some of you guys have more than others, but we're talking about those other people who just said, you know what, I'm not going to pay rent. And at this time, can we really blame anyone for not paying rent? I mean, seriously, if someone gave you the green light to spend 2-3 years in someone's house and not pay rent, and that person still has to cut the grass, if you have everything included, that person still has to pay your electric bill, your heat bill. They still have to pay their mortgage. They still have to pay the taxes to the same people who's voting against your benefits. Okay, the same people who's voting against the homeowner or the landlord or the owner of the property, whatever you want to call it, is actually still want to get their taxes, because when that's due, they want their paycheck. So, guys, if you are a landlord and you are struggling right now, I say you guys can try to check out some of my videos, especially if people are destroying your apartment. Different options, different ways you can try to see if you can get tenants out. I mean, there are some. Look, I'll put a link below in the details. So, hey, maybe you guys can try to figure something out. But waiting around to see what these guys are going to do, they're not going to do nothing. The state doesn't care. This is not the state for that. Maybe you can go to Florida, maybe Texas, but New York doesn't care about the landlord. They just don't. I mean, maybe somewhere in my mind, I do think there is a good reason. However, I think they're going about it the wrong way. Okay. Number one congressman, James Tedesco, he said in a bill, I believe it's S5629, he said, well, why don't we establish a rental assistance loan to grant program to assist landlords due to the COVID-19 pandemic. And if those landlords, basically the idea is this, from my understanding, if the state gives the landlord a loan for all the rent that was owed, because these legislators, these senators, these state senators believe that the landlords are going to get their money back from these tenants who have not paid. So what James is saying is, hey, look, you know what? Why don't we lend these landlords the money? And then once they get paid, boom, they'll give it back to us. And if they don't, then they get to keep it. If you really believe, they will actually get the money. But the problem is, I don't think they believe that. That's why they're not doing that. They're not going to give out loans to the landlord. They don't really care whether the landlords get paid or not. So if any of you guys think you're going to get paid, maybe you will. Maybe some of you will. If you got one of those tenants. And here's the funny thing, too. Most of the tenants who probably just didn't pay, they're not the wealthy tenants. They're not the tenants who have money, who actually did get affected by COVID. So they're not really looking out for those poor tenants. They're actually screwing those poor tenants. And I'm going to tell you why. Because guess what? Most of the landlords who used to rent to the poor tenants, guess what? They're not renting to them anymore. They're not going to take that chance, because you're not going to take the chance of renting to someone that might just straight not pay you. I think that what they think is going to happen is that they're just gonna go in and just start taking people's apartment. I mean, why not, right? All they have to do is just write a legislation and boom, that's it. They can just take someone's home. But the thing is, sometimes I'm really wondering, when are we gonna really like start standing up on this thing, right? But what do you think is going to do? Well, you know what's going to happen? Landlords are also going to just start keeping their apartments empty. Yeah, you're not going to want to just give it to just anybody. So now you're going to keep your apartment empty, waiting for that perfect person that you can guarantee that's not going to ruin you, not going to jump on the government's giveaway, right? Think about that. You're gonna, and I know in New York City, there's already landlords who's already just keeping their apartments empty because, well, they don't want to pay. They don't want their rents to start to drop. Whatever's going on right now, it's not COVID related. So stop saying COVID-19 related. This has nothing to do with COVID. This started in 2019 when they started passing all those laws against the landlords, and it continued right into COVID. COVID was just another opportunity to go after the New York landlord. The politicians mostly don't care is because, well, we don't have the numbers. I mean, one landlord can own a building of 100 units. Now think about that. That's one landlord. If you're a mom and pop, you can own one or two, whatever. But one landlord owns all that. Think about it. You got 100 units, 100 people. If they're couples, 200 people that can vote against you. Now think about that. It's basically, in a weird way, it's like you have kind of like a minority. Basically, you vote the people in, and then you say, listen, let's pick on these guys right here. Let's pick on these guys because there's more of us. Let's pick on these guys. And keep in mind, this is after basically the governor's coming out saying that, oh, you know what, we're going to start opening things up. So now let's think about this really well. They're going to start opening things up. People can go to the movie theater, go to the mall, go to, why exactly are landlords the ones suffering here? Think about this really well. They're going to open up the whole society. That means that anyone can go out and hang out, have fun. No more, like, they're going to pretty much pull restrictions. Florida removed everything, right? There's no restrictions in Florida. So think about that really well. Why is it that the landlord and free rent is somehow the only way people can catch COVID here? So clearly, it's not true. Clearly, they're just screwing the landlords and they're making us the scapegoat. They're making us pretty much pay for these people to live. And they're living off of us. They're living off of the landlords where they can just live away for free. So they're not really looking out for those poor tenants. They're actually screwing those poor tenants. And I'm going to tell you why. Because guess what? Most of the landlords who used to rent to the poor tenants, guess what? They're not renting to them anymore. They're not going to take that chance because you're not going to take the chance of renting to someone that might just straight not pay you because those tenants are not going to get assistance. So if they're not going to get assistance, do you really expect some guy to take a chance? Look at California. Look at how California has been destroyed by this type of policy. This type of policy of squeezing the landlords. But then what ends up happening, the landlords get strict, they fix it, they throw granite in the kitchen, and guess what? They rent it to someone else, someone who's going to pay. Someone who, if they have an issue, they will actually get the rent relief program to pay them. Okay? Because the people who's in your properties who have not paid, chances are they didn't stop paying because they didn't work. They didn't stop paying because they didn't have a job. They didn't stop paying because they caught COVID. In fact, COVID was very, very good for them. The whole COVID situation was very well. They threw parties in your house. They did things, crazy stuff in your house, destroyed your house. You can go online, go on YouTube, and you'll see tons of landlords showing their pictures of their homes have been destroyed. But guess what? These guys, these senators don't care. They don't care. Okay, they don't care. This is not that type of thing. I think landlords have to really think about how to move forward from here. And when you guys think you're not voting, you're sitting back thinking like, oh yeah, I'm not going to get involved. I'll stay quiet. Because most landlords love to stay quiet, love to stay in the shadows, but guess what? Think about it. But anyway, hey guys, tell me what you think. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe, like, share this. If you have any comments, hey, comment below. Tell me what you think. What's your situation? If you got something, hey, if you just want to vent, you want to say how annoyed you are about everything, hey, just comment below and let's have a conversation.